Okay, so that's going. And then I got to figure out how to I switched you to be host somehow. Let's see. Oh, okay, make host. All right, so I'm going to make you host, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce you and let her go.
Okay.
You want to change host to yes? Okay. All right, welcome everybody to the first of the Division G webinars. Our first webinar this year is going to be about the Distinguished Club Program and the Club Success Plan. Please help me welcome Area G1 Director Greg Mauro, who is an Advanced Communicator Silver, Advanced Leader Bronze, and also under Pathways, he's working on Effective Coaching Level 2. Help me welcome Greg. Take it over, Greg.
All right. Thank you so much, Dennis. This afternoon, we will be talking about the Distinguished Club Program and how the DCP and fulfilling those goals will help your club be the best that it could possibly be. So let me see here how we need to share my slides. Okay. Dennis, do you remember how we do that? Because I don't find it on here. Let's see here. On his computer, invite, manage participants.
Should be on the edge of the screen.
Okay, I'm looking. Okay. Oh, wait, here, hold on. I found it.
Okay.
Share. Here we go. I'm going to be going back and forth between two different show presentations today. I know that a lot of you have attended TLI, and so you have seen the Creating a Quality Club program slide. I am going to go over that today, but also discuss the moments of truth, which are really closely tied to creating a quality club. Couple things we're going to go over today in the presentation is, number one, our member experience and how that is vital to fulfilling our Distinguished Club program goals. Number two, our foundation for the club. And also number three, the importance of teamwork. Objectives of this session will be identify the elements to satisfy club members. We will correlate moments of truth to the DCP. We will talk about applying moments of truth, and then identifying your leadership role in Toastmasters and how that will help your club achieve its DCP goals. The member experience of Toastmasters is so vital. As Disney often says, be our guest, be our guest. That is what we as Toastmasters should be promoting, is that we are a welcoming environment for everybody, whether they are a first-time guest or a long-time member. There are several components of club quality. You'll notice that the club and the moments of truth are the roof of the club quality, but there are four pillars that really hold that up, and that would be the experiential learning, which Pathways is a great platform for. It's a self-paced program, meaning that members can go at their own pace. Three, peer feedback, that we have regular evaluations from members to not only affirm in our strong areas, but to give us constructive criticism for how to improve ourselves. And of course, mentoring, not just for the first 3 meetings, but that the mentoring process would be ongoing with not just one mentor, but you could have multiple mentors for different topics or areas you would like to work in. As always, the Toastmasters Club mission is vital to the operation and success of any Toastmasters Club. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And of course, Toastmasters values, there are 4 core values. One way that I remember it is RISE: respect, integrity, service, and excellence. And of course, we have the Toastmasters brand, Everything we promote in Toastmasters must contain Toastmasters branding. We do represent the brand and its almost 100-year history whenever we do a club meeting or event. The brand personality of Toastmasters is that we are leaders that are dedicated, that are helpful, and are empowering. The moments of truth. Moments of truth have several components, which I'm going to go over in more detail momentarily. We're going to talk about first impressions, because first impressions are vital for any experience, no matter what organization. We're going to talk about orientation for members, fellowship, variety, and communication. Discuss program planning and meeting organization, as well as membership strength and achievement recognition. So before I continue with the Distinguished Club program, I'm going to switch over to the Moments of Truth. The Moments of Truth is so intricately tied to the DCP that in order to really fulfill the Distinguished Club program with a great amount of success, you have to have a mastery of the moments of truth and how that can help your club really excel. The moments of truth is a tool that enables a sustained club quality through the guided evaluation and targeted recommendations. And each moment of truth represents an opportunity for the club to create a positive impression. A high quality club, and any club you go to that is consistently a distinguished, select distinguished, or president's distinguished will exemplify these 7 qualities. Number 1 is that it encourages and celebrates member achievements. For example, I was a member of Visalia Toastmasters for nearly 3 years, and every time that a member achieved a leadership or communication benchmark, they would get to choose a dessert presented to the club for the next week. And it was just a small way of celebrating those accomplishments, but it made people look forward a little bit more to it because it was celebrated together. Number 2 is to provide a supportive and fun environment. Oftentimes in our workplaces, we experience cliques and little groups and whispering. And Toastmasters is a place where ideally we want that environment to not be a clique, but to be more of a family environment where everybody is supportive of each other and we look forward to learning and to growing together. Number 3, it offers a professionally organized meeting with variety. When we attend a Toastmasters meeting, we want it to be professional because we represent the Toastmasters brand. And there are meetings that we have, such as Christmas parties or white elephant gift exchanges or open houses, where there may be a little bit of a difference and it may take on, in some cases, a bit more of a casual feel, but it should never, ever feel rude or rushed or of a low quality. And that's why, if you're not familiar with something called the Robert's Rules of Order, I would encourage you to at least have the little cheat sheets that are available. They give you the summary of the most important of the motions, because that will help you to be able to maintain a smooth club meeting and staying on schedule and making sure that everyone's rights and that all the procedures are followed and are respected. And if you happen to know our district protocol officer, Truman Ziegler, actually I should say Division G protocol officer, you can always go to him because he is like an encyclopedia of the Robert's Rules. But if you don't know him, you can get the little cheat sheet, and that's pretty much will set you up for success in that area. Number 4, and it's really, really vital, is club officers are trained in all aspects of club quality. Now, I heard as club president, well, Greg, we always go to these trainings. Why do we have to go every 6 months? They don't seem to be different. And I tell people, well, number 1, information is always updated, no matter what field you're in. And especially with pathways, a lot of the information, especially pertaining to the DCP, has been updated. And so no matter what, you've been trained on before, you want to make sure you're there. Number two, there's something to be said about attending these trainings when you're doing it all together as a group. There's that camaraderie that comes from the joint experience and of sharing that same information. It's a lot easier and better that way than to have maybe one or two members of your officer corps attend and then have them try to disseminate the information secondhand to the other officers. It just makes it a lot better experience. And also to add, you get to network with other club, area, and division, and even district level officers who have a lot of experience that we all can benefit from, because no matter how much experience one has, one can always gain more perspective and experience. Fifth thing that's important about a high quality club is for members to have access to a formal mentoring program. That would be a program where the VP of E would assign a new member a mentor and make sure that there are club members that are not only willing to be mentored, but are trained to be mentored. And the Pathways program is actually much better at that than the Legacy program, which didn't have any components of mentoring. Pathways trains people on how to mentor, which I believe will improve the quality of mentoring and help our retention rates. Next one would be that members are provided evaluations to help them grow. It does us no good to give a speech if we're not told what worked well and what we need to work on. Now, we always need to come out of a point of kindness and wanting to help somebody, but that doesn't mean that we should be afraid to give constructive criticism when needed, because sometimes we need to hear things that we're not always wanting to hear. But if we have that supportive and fun environment and it is professional, then we're more likely to accept that constructive criticism in a positive way, and then we'll grow from it. And the next one is that members are motivated to achieve their goals. And that comes through really talking about the importance of the Distinguished Club program and how it not just benefits the club, but the individuals as well. Because a lot of times we focus on how it will help the club become distinguished. But members want to know how it will benefit them. And so really focusing on how achieving those goals will benefit their goals in Toastmasters. And it's through everyone achieving their goals through the DC framework of the DCP that then the clubs benefit, and from there all the other levels will benefit. So the moments of truth is when anyone comes in contact with any aspect of Toastmasters, regardless of the event. It even could be on the street when someone asks you about Toastmasters, or when you're at another location hosting a Toastmasters event, because we do represent the brand, and whether we like it or not, people's impressions of an organization will come from the initial contact that they have with people who represent it. So these are some of the aspects of moment of truth. First impressions, membership orientation, very, very vital that members actually know what's going on and are trained at the different roles. That also goes along with the mentoring on an ongoing basis. We would need to have fellowship, variety, and communication, that there needs to be a variety of opportunities, because I'm a teacher myself. And if I just did the same lessons with my third graders for 180 days a year, they would probably riot by the time I got to maybe day 18, let alone day 180. So we need to have a program that promotes that variety, because it's variety that stimulates people and pushes them to exceed. We also need to have excellent program planning and meeting organization, which comes from regular monthly officer meetings and regular communication between the officers, even when they're not meeting. Membership strength. From a practicality perspective, if you have a club that has less than 10 members, you will probably be be fulfilling multiple roles. And if you've ever fulfilled multiple roles, you know from experience that it's not always very easy to do so, and you can't really focus on honing your skills in one area. Membership strength allows roles to be spread out and for people to focus on those individual experiences. And not only that, but membership strength just exposes us to more people. With more people, there's more perspectives. And achievement recognition, because we all love to have ourselves recognized in one way or another, and recognizing people's achievements helps motivate them and others to succeed. So first impressions, we want to just greet people warmly, guest books, name tags, a professional meeting room, convenient meeting location. Guests are invited to address the club, but never forced. Noted, it's invited, and guests are invited to join the club, not coerced, not forced, but gently encouraged. And if we provide that proper environment and gently encourage, then members will make their own, guests will make their own decision, and they won't feel compelled to join, because if they feel forced to join, they might join and then they won't attend. So membership orientation includes a formal induction, including presentation of pin and manuals, assignment of a mentor, very, very important that mentors get assigned to new members so that the new members know what's going on and can have a person to bounce off their speech ideas off of, that the education programs and recognition system is discussed, specifically the DCP, that learning needs are assessed. Pathways is really, really good about that, helping for the member to self-assess where they want to focus, but it's also up to the mentor to get that kind of personal relationship with their mentee so they have an idea of where they're at and where they want to be, and for the mentor to help them, guide them there. They need to be assigned speaking roles. Newer members need to be assigned speaking roles first before more veteran members for two reasons. One, it provides them with more experience, and you want the newer members to have that experience. And number two, many of our DCP communication goals focus around the level 1 and 2 of pathways, or the equivalent of the competent communication and competent leader in the legacy, which this is the last year that we can use those. So you want to make sure that newer members who are more like in the pathways, they get to have that opportunity to develop and grow. And then members are involved in club activities such as speech contests, open houses, and the like. You want to make sure that clubs have that warm feeling of communication, that the meetings are educational, that there are social events regularly scheduled, that you participate in area, district, and international events. You have events between clubs, and you have some sort of communication, whether it's a website or a club newsletter. You want to make sure that you publicize your program in advance, especially if it's a special event, like an open house, a guest speaker, any meeting or event that is different from the normal and has a different start time, end time, different meeting time, day of the week. You really want to get that out there, because people are creatures of habit. And if we don't let them know that, hey, we're not going to meet this Wednesday, but we're going to meet this Friday for this special event, that people will come Wednesday and there'll be no meeting, and then they'll wonder why we're not there, and we'll lose potential members. And a big one, all projects have to be manual or pathways. And the misconception is that the pathways and the manuals for legacy dictate the topics. Honestly, most of the projects do not dictate your topic. There is pretty much open range for you to incorporate any topic of your choosing, whether it is a more professional or more personal, or an interest or hobby within the framework of your pathway. It could be effective coaching or dynamic presentation skills. And so what you would be doing is presenting your speech ideas in the frame of whatever path you choose to be on. That meetings begin and end on time, because it's all part of that professionalism, that when the meeting says we start at 7, we start at 7, not 7:01 or 2 or 3. And when we end at 8:30, we end at 8:30, not 8:35 or 8:40, because we want to be professional. And when we start and stop on time and we follow our agenda, that lets club guests and members alike know that we know what we're doing and we value their time. Also having creative table topics and activities, because that allows members to get more and guests to get more engaged. Often table topics is one of the gateways for a guest and or newer member to participate, and having those creative table topics presents opportunities for lesser experienced individuals to participate. Also, positive and helpful evaluations. So making sure that our evaluations are always framed with the intent of helping the new member, not trying to criticize them. But whenever we say that there is an area of need, we need to give them a way to improve it. We need to give them a tip to help them improve it, so that we're giving them a tool, we're empowering them. And membership strength. The ideal is that clubs have 20 members or more. Toastmasters International would like for every club to have 20 members or more. If you do not have 20 members or more, Toastmasters International asks that you gain a minimum of 5 members per calendar year. I'm often asked, or I should say Toastmasters year, because our Toastmasters year does not follow the calendar year, nor does it follow the business year. Toastmasters year starts on July 1, and it goes through June 30th of the following year. We are currently in the 2019-2020 Toastmasters year. You also want promotion in clubs, organization, and our communities. That's where your vice presidents of membership and PR have to be really strong and work together to promote Toastmaster events, not just the club, but also area and division level contests and district level conferences. And when promotion is good, that will attract more people to the event. That club programs are varied and exciting. There are a variety of opportunities for members and guests alike to speak and to grow. That Toastmasters sponsoring new members are recognized. We also want to recognize the mentors as that are putting in their time and effort. And we want to have regular membership building programs. That means the vice president of membership has to constantly be working to try to get more members, to find ways to attract the guests. Because really, the vice president of membership and the VP of PR, public relations, work together as a team. The PR person is more about the public face of the club, trying to get people to the club, and membership tries to keep them there once they're there to become members. So PR people, the PR vice president is trying to get you there as a guest, and the membership person is going to get you there as a member. Ideally, you want both vice presidents to know both those roles, so if one's gone, the other one can take over. And achievement recognition. So for award applications to be immediately submitted to World Headquarters. That means not only submitted it on the Pathway site, but you also have to go onto the general TMI, Toastmasters International website, and submit that there in order for the member to have recognition. To have a progress chart, display the progress, and ask members, where do you want to be? Where are you now? What's your next achievement? Okay, you're working on level 1. When can you finish level 1? And get them to nail a date. Now, that date may not always be fulfilled because of life, but if they have a date in mind, that will help motivate them to stay on track. And so the VP of E really needs to get with every member and make sure that they have a goal date for finishing their next level, and that the VP of E in turn knows, okay, I have these many level 1s and these many level 2s, these many level 3s. I have this person who's doing their Distinguished Toastmaster under Legacy. And why is that important? Because it ties back into the Distinguished Club program and Club Success Plan that I'm going to go in more detail in a few minutes. That club and member achievements are publicized, and that the DCP is used for planning and recognition. The DCP is absolutely vital. It is, you should treat it almost like you would treat a Bible for Toastmasters. If there's one document that you should follow, a couple documents you should follow, it is the Distinguished Club Program and the Club Success Plan. If you can have a mastery of those and incorporate the moments of truth, your club will be successful. And how well does the club perform on each of the standards that I went over? Now I'm going to go back to my DCP presentation, and I'm going to explain more about the Distinguished Club Program and how the moments of truth tie into that. The Distinguished Club Program is a program that is built upon the moments of truth and enhancing club member experience. It has 4 components. One is that members have the opportunity to earn educational awards. Then number 2, we have members, enough members that every leadership, every role is covered by somebody and that committee assignments are filled. Number 3, that trained club officers are better able to serve and support your club. And 4, that fulfilling administrative duties helps your club run more smoothly, which benefits members. Our DCP has educational goals. There are 6 goals in our current, what are called Legacy program, and 6 more in Pathways. You pick 6 out of those 12. You have to, as a club, decide based on how many people are still working on Legacy. Probably for most clubs, at the most, you'll have 1 or 2 Legacy program people, because they will be the ones that will be working on a DTM. So you might have somebody who's working on a DTM or finishing an Advanced Leader Silver, Advanced Leader Gold, or maybe they were a little bit away from a Bronze. The majority of a club's goals, especially if they're new, and they have all new members, then your goals are from the Pathways. 4 members complete level 1. That's 4 projects. That's easy to achieve in a year. Of those 4, 2 achieve level 2. You get 2 more level 2s. So in the course of a year, if you have 8 of your members go through level 1 and 2, you've now completed 3 of those 6 DCP educational goals. You then could have 2 members be level 3, and then just have 1 member whose experience be a level 4, 1 be a level 5. If your Vice President of Education is on top of things and they keep track of every person and where they're at, if you have Toast Host, that is a great free tool to utilize when utilized properly to keep electronic track, especially for those that are still on Legacy. Otherwise, if you don't have Toast Host, Pathways is great because it also keeps a digital record of the members' achievements. One thing that I've learned over my course of a couple years in doing Pathways and as a Pathways guide, there is a section under your profile on Pathways in your Basecamp. Please fill that out every time that you do a role: Toastmaster, Evaluator, Table Topics Master, Counter, Grammarian, and other roles such as those, because you will need those requirements for levels 3 and above in a path. And even if you're not in level 3 right now, those roles that you fulfill will count for later on. So go in there every time you do a role you just have to take a minute, click on the role, put in the date, and it keeps track for you, and it will give you credit for it when the time comes that you need those meeting role requirements. The remaining DCP goals are actually also easy. They are four new members per year, and then 4 more new members. Training is a minimum of 4 club officers trained during each of 2 training periods. Division G offers 2 TLIs per 6-month period, so that if you miss one, you have the opportunity to attend the other. We would love to have all 7 officers attend, and we offer special ribbons for club banners when you do have all 7 officers. With that being said, we also realize that sometimes that is not a reality because of schedules. We do want at least 4 of you trained each time. And if you have 4 of you trained for each of those 2 half-year sections, you meet the goal for training. And then this last one is pretty easy. You submit your payment dues by September 30th and March 30th on time, and but with the names of at least 8 members, 3 of them must be renewing. So you just submit those dues on time, and that gets you your DCP goals. Now, I have to say there is one caveat. You can achieve all these, but if you do not have at least 20 members, if you start July 1 at least 20 members, you have to end at June 30th with at least 20, or plus 5. So if by you achieving 5 more members, you are under 20, that would be 14 or less members to start off with. So say you have 13 members in your club, July 1, you finish the year with 18, you have met the goal. If you do not meet this membership requirement, no matter how many other DCP goals your club meets, you do not receive the recognition for the Distinguished Club Program. Here we go. It's important that we do this as a team. In order for this to succeed, everybody must know their role as an officer, and they must work together. It's also important to know what the other officers are doing, especially VP of PR knowing what membership's doing, and for a VP of education to know what the president does, because the vice president of education is the presiding officer whenever the president is not present, and therefore should know the role of directing, of leading a meeting. The Gestalt approach to teamwork is that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It is important as an officer to know your role. What is your role? What is your job requirements? What do you need to do before, during, and after every meeting? You need to know the roles of your teammates so that you can help your teammates when inevitably one person is going to need assistance for one reason or another. You need to communicate your areas of strength, because it's important that everybody knows everybody else's strengths, also everybody else's weaknesses. We need to be transparent when we have an area that we have a challenge in, because it's likely that among 7 officers that one of the other 6 is going to have a strength in an area you have a weakness in, and you're likely to have a strength in an area, conversely, that they have a weakness in. So that open communication and transparency helps a team to know what skills they have and how they can assist each other. And then be proactive. There's an old saying that my dad used to tell me when I was growing up: an inch of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. And it is very, very true. It is so much easier to anticipate possible struggles and disadvantages and issues, and to either prevent them, or when you identify them, because they will creep up even when you try to be proactive, to get them right away. Don't wait. Don't think it's small. Don't just say it will take time. Actually be proactive and address the issues, because small issues, when left undealt with, will fester. And then be willing to cover for another officer, because with 7 officers, one inevitably will be sick or disposed and cannot make a meeting, or will have something that that won't be able to attend an event. So be willing to pick up the slack for them, because they will also be willing to pick up the slack for you. And that is called teamwork. And then the executive committee is composed of the 7 officers in the club. There is the president, the vice president of education. Those 2 are also on the district executive committee. You have the vice president of membership, vice president of public relations, secretary, treasurer, sergeant at arms, and you have an 8th person that is not an official member voting wise, but it has an advisory role, and this role is very important, and that is the IPP, also known as the immediate past president. Please make sure that your immediate past president is given the opportunity to be included and attend your executive committee, your officer meetings, because that immediate past president, that individual has experience, not only as a president, but very likely in other officer roles. And they also could be a past or current area, division, or district officer. And you want the benefit of that experience on your team, because I've seen it. When the immediate past president has not felt included, that is when there have been problems in the club. And also when clubs are not willing to accept the experience. Now, it can't be forced down. It's not something that's mandated, but it is a best practice to have the wisdom and experience of your immediate past president, to at least present them with the opportunity to attend. Just going to go over the roles very briefly. The president sets the tone for the club, provides helpful support and leadership, facilitates communication, knows membership levels and progress, and serves as the base camp manager. The president needs to be familiar with pathways to know how the website works, what the different levels are, and how to approve people. And the president also has to be familiar with Robert's rules, because the president is the presider of every club meeting and is the presider of the executive committee meeting. The vice president of education has the president also has to ensure that executive officers are functioning well as a group. They need to be cohesive, and the president also needs to make sure that the club is focused on distinguished club program status, which, by the way, for those unfamiliar, achieve 5 goals and you're president, you're just distinguished, excuse me. 7 and you're select distinguished. 9 and your president's distinguished, which used to be the top one, but now there is a Smedley distinguished, which means if you get all 10 out of 10, you will get the newly minted Smedley Distinguished Award for your club. The vice president of education is probably the most labor-intensive position on the officer corps, because they're the ones that have to spearhead all the members, making sure they're staying on their goals. They are the second officer, akin to Commander Riker on the Enterprise. He was doing all of the work of being second officer, of making sure that people under him were doing their work, plus having to take over as the captain. Well, guess what, VPE? You get to take over as presiding officer when the president's not there. And inevitably, in a 52-week year, your president will probably not be there at least once. So you have to make sure you know the role of the president so you can step in at any time and be that presiding officer for the club. You also need to know how to schedule member speeches and projects and maintaining that schedule and a spreadsheet for it. And then you serve as a base camp manager. You serve as a resource for questions about educational awards, speech contests and mentors, and as a source of Toastmasters knowledge and the education program. It is ideal that your VP of E be one of the more experienced club members. In fact, many clubs have VP of E's that have served in capacities as president or on area, division, and district level because of their experience with the Distinguished Club program. The vice president of membership promotes and manages the process of bringing in guests and transforming them into members, initiates contact with guests, makes them feel welcome, and works with the vice president of public relations and the treasurer. The VP of public relations is the person who is the public face, so to speak, when as far as publicity, promotes the community through activities that increase membership, publicizes meeting times and locations, maintains all form of social media, LinkedIn or Meetup, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They write a newsletter. Not all clubs do, but it's a good idea to do that. Secretary is the person who maintains all accurate records for the club, and extremely important because they're the ones that take minutes for the meetings, both our regular meetings and executive committee meetings. They will read those minutes at the next meeting to be approved. They archive historical records and they record all member and guest attendance. They distribute the club roster and they maintain a current officer list and they serve as base camp manager. Treasurer is the accountant, keeps all financial records, manages the club's bank account, writes checks, collects dues and pays them to world headquarters and helps create a budget. And the sergeant at arms is one of the busiest people at a meeting. Now, the sergeant at arms may not do a lot of prep as far as outside of a meeting, but in the actual meeting environment, the sergeant at arms is probably the second busiest person there because they're responsible to set it up. They get there early and they set up the physical environment. They are in contact with the place, whether it's a restaurant or it's a realty, another business, to make sure that the place is maintained. They remove club property. They create a good first impression, and they also have to communicate to the secretary, to the treasurer, to purchase more items like ribbons, ballots, pens, and other things that they would need for meetings. The executive committee duties are to create that club budget, to develop a club success plan, which is a long document. Many clubs already have a club success plan. This is where you need to talk to your secretary, who should have the last one archived, as well as talk to the president at the time who helped create that, or any other officers that were around who helped create that plan, because that will ensure that there's continuity. You don't need to rewrite the entire club success plan. You need to only change the parts that have changed since it was last written. You need to strategize for success in a Distinguished Club program, and you need to create and oversee all other club committees as necessary. When a club uses the moments of truth, those moments of truth is a pillar to the Distinguished Club program. If you're doing the moments of truth, then you're doing pretty much what the Distinguished Club program asks you to do. And the Club Success Plan is a blueprint for the DCP goals. And it all starts with moments of truth. If you got those moments of truth down, and you're doing everything that's on the Moments of Truth list, go back, take a look at it. There are PDF versions of the Moments of Truth available online from various Toastmasters districts. Look at, and from international, look at it. I would encourage you to really look at it and know what those moments of truth are, because it starts there. And if you can get that down and have the best practices from the moments of truth, that will help your club success plan. That will help you to make sure that you're following your club success plan, that you're going to have a good club success plan. Please meet with your officers about the club success plan presidents. Don't wait until it's springtime and you to do it. Do it now. Start now. Look for an archive version, look through it, see what needs to be changed, see what needs to be kept the same, and discuss it. Because how do you know where you're going if you don't know where you've been and you don't have a goal for yourself? You're not going to achieve those goals for club members if you don't have a goal for the club. So it's important to have that club success plan, because when you follow moments of truth and the club success plan, the DCP goals come. Don't focus so much on the DCP goals as your first thing. Focus on the moments of truth. Focus on your club success plan. Focus on getting that solid. And if you get that solid, you'll find that your DCP will be fulfilled, because you'll have members participating and you'll have them growing, and every speech will be from a manual or a pathways project, and you'll have new guests and new members. So you'll have people to have with various growth opportunities, and more members means more opportunities for us to achieve our goals as a club. And when clubs are successful, so are areas. And when areas are successful, so are divisions. And when divisions are successful, so are districts, and so on. And our success as individuals is where it needs to begin, is that club member experience. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. If you have any questions for me about this, you can always reach out to me at Greg Mauro 73 at yahoo.com, or you can also contact me on the District 33 Facebook page, and I will gladly respond to you. Thank you so much for attending, and hope that this will be a benefit to you and your clubs, and that Division G will be a distinguished division this year.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Let's see if I can switch you back so that I'm the host here.
All right. There we go.
Okay. Oops, it still shows you as host. But anyway, I'm going to reclaim. Here we go. All right. Just a couple other things before we conclude. Let's see if I can share my screen. I wanted to show a few things for you folks. Let's see. Let me do this.
By the way, everybody, this is Dennis Ham, who is a distinguished Toastmaster. He is a former district director up in the Seattle, Washington area, and has been a Toastmaster for how many years, Dennis?
If I stayed in Toastmasters and I didn't quit for a while, I'd be over 40 years.
He is one of the wise sages of Division G, and he's going to point out a few more things that will be beneficial to you in the DCP and Club Success Plan. Okay,
Greg, on your screen, do you see the copy of the Distinguished Club Program in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, this is you need to get the latest copy, and I have it on our Division G Facebook page under the files. And so if you look up files, you should be able to download the most current Distinguished Club Program. And what you should find toward the back of it there's probably about maybe 10 or 15 or 20 pages at the back of forms to fill out to help you work on your Distinguished Club Program. It's also known as Club Success Plan. The main part of it, though, is really just the educational program. It has you look at who's going to complete which level in pathways or which manual in the legacy program. So you need to look at that. The other thing I want to show you quickly is that we're talking about all of these different things that we need to maintain or keep track of. Well, actually, it's pretty well done for us by Toastmasters International. If you go to the regular main Toastmasters website, I'm ahead of myself here. Let's see. If you go to Leadership Central, click on Leadership Central, then you go to where it says Distinguished Performance Reports. Click on that. Then you'll see this whole spreadsheet of all the different districts in the of Toastmasters International. You can either over here on the upper left select our district, which is 33. I'll do it that way I'll just do it this way. Select 33. You will see a lot of information show up on our screen. It shows, right now it shows the District 33 performance, and it shows you the amount of paid clubs that we have, the amount of members that we have, and the amount of distinguished clubs. If you look at the club performance tab, here's pretty much what Greg was talking about. You have over here club goals on the left. You move over here to the next column, their next box that says club goals, and this is a pathway goals. This is the more current information now. And by the end of this calendar Toastmaster year, this first box of club goals is going to go away because it's all legacy. We will then pick up on the club goals, which is pathways, and the next box over here, the third box, talks about getting new members, officers trained, and dues submitted on time. This is a quick way of looking at where you're at. And I'm going to pick one of my own clubs. You can put in your own club over here on the left, and it will tell you where you are at this time. One of the clubs I belong to is Club 2302. So it tells me that my base membership is 13, and actually we have 14 now. The +5 that Greg was talking about is right here, the required. So we're starting the year with 13 members. In order to be potentially at least qualified to become distinguished, we have our +5 right here as 18. For clubs who are 20 or more, you just have your required is going to be the 20. And then toward the end of the year, as you complete the various goals, over here on the right, you will see how many goals that you have met. It tells you in order to be distinguished, you need 5, select 7, and president's 9. That's what Greg was telling you. So this is the quick way of looking it up, and it will tell you exactly where your club stands at this moment in time without having to do all the calculations. But this is what Toastmasters uses to recognize you. So anyway, Greg, you asked for a half hour. You took 45 minutes, which is great. We had all that time. And so this pretty much concludes our presentation. Unless, Greg, you have any other things you want to follow up on?
No, actually, Dennis, thank you for presenting the dashboard so that club members and club officers, I should say, can access information. You'll notice that if you're a club officer, you can access information for your own club that regular club members cannot access as well.
Right. And that's where you do have to log in. But what I've just showed you, you don't even have to log in.
No.
Anybody could look at it.
The general public can look at that. And it's a really good way of keeping track of your goals and then how that relates to our area and division and district. Because as I've been saying, and I know I'm kind of maybe beating a dead horse here, but it all starts with healthy clubs. And that starts with healthy and happy and satisfied members. It is all about the member experience, because Toastmasters at its core is about the individual member and helping the members working together to help members achieve their goals. So thank you very much, Dennis, as well, for organizing the webinar. Hopefully you have benefited from it. Any questions, please contact Dennis Ham or myself. We'll be glad to answer any questions you have.
Right. And the next webinar that we have scheduled is coming up in about 2 weeks, exactly 2 weeks. Actually, it's going to be on September the 15th, also on a Sunday from 4 till 5. And it's going to be about judging. So we have some speech contests that might be coming up in the near future. And in order to have qualified judges, you need to attend some training. So that's what we'll be providing in a couple of weeks. So that's all that I have for today. Greg, do you have anything else?
Nope, Dennis, that's it.
Okay, well, in that case, we will conclude this webinar. It will be saved and put up on the Facebook page for our division. So
awesome.
We will see you folks in 2 weeks.
See you guys. Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks, Greg. I'm going to end the meeting.
Yep.